Well, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thanks for joining us here today. We wanted to have a quick webinar for you because there's been a lot that's been going on in and around projects and teams, Microsoft Teams, that is, and then Power Platform. Now, there's a bunch here that we're going to get into, but we wanted to go through this, see if there's pause at the end to see if there's any time for questions as well. But what did we find, in our experience? What's new that's out there? And then actually some things that you might have already seen, and some folks you might have already missed, that are new. So pretty easy. I just wanted to go through this really quickly. So the first thing is going to be in and around our upcoming webinars. So we do have a few others that you might want to jump on for. I know some people are really looking forward to some of those notifications. We've been getting a lot of questions about, hey, how do you get alerts and notifications? Our team's been doing Power Automate for well over a year and a half now, and got some good tips and tricks there. And then the other one that you might want to key in on is what is out there in the current landscape for PPM. So we're going to be going through that from a competitive view, and then project versus planner, some questions in around there, and then anything to do with what we find for internally. We have a poll that we go ahead and we post on, and then folks can go on there and take a look at all our new resources. So we wanted to share some of those with you as well. All right, so getting into the new releases for project first. Now, we wanted to provide just the landscape and the roadmap really from January 1 of 2021 all the way through January of 2022. Now, the team's been working really hard and getting different releases out there. They're using user voice. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to update as far as a feature set goes, you can go onto any Microsoft product, but specifically with projects, since we know the product team, is they're looking at these and they're ranking these and they're actually looking to do development based on what's submitted with user voice. So first things first, what is out there? Wanted to make sure that you knew of some of these other things that happened in projects, particularly in around filters. I'll show you that in a bit, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that with project for the web now, it's a little bit easier to filter. There's able to start to roll up tallies. You really couldn't see at a summary level how many tasks you had down below, and that's really good. There's also something that came out. It came out in July, but some of our clients still don't know about this tool, and it's called Bookings. It's called Microsoft Bookings, and if you go off there and take a look, maybe I'll have a little time to show you here at the end. But Bookings is in and around. It's a Power App, first of all, that's built for booking, and it ties nicely into Project for the Web. Remember, Project for the Web is that lightweight user interface, and there isn't any true resource management built into it yet. So they have a standalone app out there called Bookings. You can go ahead and look at that. Just go ahead and search it, and you can see what it does. You can slide, you can move the book, and really, it's pretty cool for blocking people off, whether it's daily, hourly, weekly, into different chunks. One of the areas that I started looking at, which was kind of fun, which was the import MPP file. Now you can see that back in March, they had some, also some things out there. They made it easier now. So now there's actually a button. I'll go ahead and show you that when we get through. So actually being able to import from a project. Now, right on the horizon here, we are October 2021. Critical path is coming. Our tenants here at PPM Works haven't gotten them yet, so I can't show you this yet. Might be a screenshot I can show you and get that to you. But right now it is rolling out, so you should be able to see that. So when you go over into Project for the Web, you'll now be able to see the critical path in the timeline view. So again, once you're in that timeline view, you'll be able to drop down and see critical path as an option that's there. Now, a couple others that I'm excited for that are coming here both in November and December. But the first one is the ability to allow users, right, non-project users, to be able to update their assigned tasks. This is huge, folks. This, I know there's always a licensing discussion or what can I do with different pieces of the puzzle here in Microsoft. This allows what right now there's a read-only version for anybody that has Office 365 or M365 out there. Now, what they're proposing to do here in November, less than a month away, is allow those folks the ability to progress on their tasks. This is big. Okay, so this would be a free license, and they'll be able to go ahead and update things that they're assigned on. Some more to deal with GCC. Those are the government tenants that are out there. So yes, if you are in GCC, you know all about this. But things have been rolling out. Typically in government, it rolls out 2 to 3 months after the general release to the private sector. Then one more area that I want to call out by the end of the year, and I really hope they keep to this timeline because this one's going to help out a lot, is guest users. So the ability to have guest users in Project for the Web. Now, if you know anything about guest users within Microsoft, they've been doing some great strides with Teams, okay, allowing for guest users and different things, meaning someone that has an email address, let's say of your email address or Hotmail or something else, Google or Gmail in that case. You can actually have a guest user now within your team. And now, eventually in December, we'll hopefully have those guest users within project itself. So I want to go ahead and show you a few things. So let's go ahead and just bring up my mouse there and bring up project. Now with project, there's a bunch of things that we talked about, and I just want to highlight the 3 or 4 that we talked about. So first of all, the first one is when you get in here now, before you could only assign, okay, of people that were actually on your group. So you'd have to go up here, create a group, and off you go. Well, this is, again, a few months old, but I want to make sure you can see this. So if Meg is not on here, I can simply start typing Meg, and it will go and find, see, everyone else, it will go find Meg. Now, when I go ahead and do that and add Meg to this, what it will do is it's going to, if she's not on there, it will ask us, hey, do you want to add her to the group? Or do you strictly just want to add her as an assignment? So it gives you that option, which is really nice. And I like that. I think it's really cool. When I talked about the critical path, that's where you're actually going to be able to see it here. Again, I'll check today, but as of this morning, I do not see that. So, oh, here we go. Look, you guys are in luck. Just came out today, right as I was talking. So here we go. Show critical path. See, we're learning something new. Just this morning, this wasn't on here. You can see how this rolls out, show critical path. So now we have everything that's highlighted in critical. I can see that everything right now is in my critical path. So we could actually come in here and go ahead and copy a task. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste that task right back in here. So now we have 2 of the exact same. And if I pull this back, this particular task, and you can see that now it drops off the critical path. So everything in red will have the critical path, and then obviously everything in blue does not. So again, how I got there is I went into my timeline, I went up to filters, and I toggled this show critical path. And if I don't want the red off, I can just go ahead and toggle that off. So that's pretty cool. A lot of the filtering are still out here that we wanted to show. Speaking of filters, as I switch back over to a grid mode or anything else, the reason why I'm going over to grid is just because I now have a lot of options here. So before, okay, when we started coming in here and started to take a look at these different options that there, we could go in here and edit and hide and do all this other stuff. But now we actually can go forward and do some filtering. So now we filter on all this, but you can also filter by keyword. So in this case, if we filter by team or anything else, okay, we're actually going to get everything that's within here. So you got some more flexibility on the filter, which is kind of cool and nice. Again, that didn't come out this month, came out a few months back, but I wanted to make sure that you're able to see that. Lastly, I want to show just one capability. You can actually go back to the home page in project. And remember in project, this is where you can actually create a new roadmap or project. Well, in this case, you can see down here that we have import to project from a desktop. So this is where you can go off and say, hey, I want to choose an MPP file. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And when I choose that MPP file, I can come up and take this pharma medicine development plan or whatever it happens to be. Again, this is on my local desktop. This would be a project file that you took from Project Standard and maybe saved down for Project Online. And when I go ahead and do that, it says, oh, it's going to go ahead. Well, take a look. It only supports a maximum of this. So I need to go back and can look at the details, and it will bring, again, I'll try one that's actually shorter here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that in. So again, that was something that was more than 3,560, so 10 years there in that case. I'm going to go ahead and bring something that's lower than 10 years, the mean duration. And now what we get is import complete. And it tells you if something didn't come over, which I like. And take a look, we said, oh, all the resources removed. This is known. So right now it's not bringing over resources. It's going to bring all of your tasks over. It's going to bring over everything else that's coming in, but it's not going to bring those resources. So let's take a look at how this looks. I can see all my project, how it's broken out. So my scope and how it's decomposed. And then I can come in here. I will need to add resources. So I would need to go in here, add a column for effort or resource in this case, and then I could go ahead and start assigning these people. So those are the quick and easy new things that happened with project. Now, again, I'm really looking forward to the next time we talk together with what's new, because there are going to be some cool things. Again, that use of providing users and externals, I'm really looking forward to it. If you have any questions on Project for the Web or anything else out there, reach out to us. Let us know what you're looking for. And also remember to use user voice to submit those ideas. Down in the left-hand corner is a link, but you can get to this very easily in the roadmap. And I will pull up the roadmap afterwards and show you how we found some of these. But also, I look, every couple days, I take a look at the roadmap, and I have a feed that I can see what's going across all the platform in Microsoft Office 365. So number 2 is Teams, the world of purple. Now, Teams, this must be one of the quickest and fastest growing areas that Microsoft has. Our Power BI friends might implore and jump in and say, hey, we're growing too. And yes, we are. And there are things that keep popping up, which we're going to discuss. But I'd have to say Teams has the leg power right now. There's more and more. And, let's be very quick. There are some really cool screen sharing tools out there that are non-Microsoft. So guys, we have a perfect development environment. What is good over in those other ones? What is Zoom doing? What is Cisco and these other folks using? Well, no secret there. They're doing the same thing. They're seeing what we're doing over here in Teams and how we're doing some different team share, and they're pulling that into their product suite. Though the one difference, though, is Teams is not just for telephonics. It is beyond video share, okay? And I highlighted just a few of these. Now, these are really cool, and I wanted to show you back, okay, that what has been coming over, but I wanted to highlight just a few because I hope that you're actually doing this. My hope is that when you ever have a Teams meeting, first of all, you're recording it. And while you're recording it, just like I am today, is you're recording this and you have a transcript. That transcript can be searchable, okay? You can then go back and take a look at it, as well as you can then highlight things from that transcript. So it's really cool. But the recap of the meeting is kind of nice. So if you've seen this, it actually recaps the meeting. If you have a recording, and actually put that right into the Teams thread itself, and it's pretty darn cool. So overall, I really like that recap. That was back, in the April timeframe. I think they said March, but I didn't personally see it until the spring there in April. Now, I do this all the time. I might be working on my desktop. I might be on my phone, maybe in between the office and home, or my work from home these days. And I have a call and it's on Teams. So I pick it up right on my phone. We're talking, I'm being an active part of that. But then I get back to my desk or my work from home office, and I want it to switch over. It is really nice. If you haven't used this feature, you can then go ahead and open up Teams on that other device, and it's going to prompt you and say, hey, 2 things. Do you want to connect both devices? Which you could. You may have your audio on your phone, you want your visual on your desktop, or you could say transfer. And I really like this. It's as quick as you push the button, your phone hangs up and it transfers over audio and everything right where you are. And if you happen to be sharing, it works seamlessly. And I use it probably 4 to 5 times a day. So I wanted to make sure that, hey, you see this? So that way, if you're trapped and you're on a phone call and you have to take the kids to the doctor's appointment or whatever it happens to be, hop in the call, just hop into your phone, follow it up on Teams, and it can transfer back and forth. Okay. Not saying we should be multitasking, but I get it. We're work from home these days. We do it a lot of things where we can focus always on health in our family. September was a big year, big year. It's a big month, September and October for Teams. There were many more to fill out here, but the one that I really wanted to talk about was this live transcripting. I already mentioned it, but if you pull up your Teams next time, take a look at live transcript. I find it really good for note taking, but also if I just maybe missed something or my connection wasn't so clear, I can literally go back to it and say, oh, what was Paula just talking about? Okay, she mentioned that report, the SRC report. Gosh, I missed that piece. live in real time. I can go back rather than say, hey, Paula, can you repeat that? I can actually see it with it. And I don't know if you, like you, but for a transcript to be there, again, we can't implore enough. Be present in your meeting. We have all these different things going on that can pull us in different directions. Shorten your meeting duration and really focus on what your team needs to do, and then end the meeting when you're done. Okay. And this transcript can really help with that. Power Automate is, we're going to get into that when we talk about Power Platform in the next slide. But within Teams, you now have a Power Automate app, okay, and different templates actually, but the templates that come in. So what does that mean? For those that are unfamiliar with Power Automate, it is the old flow, which helps you connect pieces of the Microsoft puzzle as well as external tools. And you could simply say, hey, let's do a simple one. We have Microsoft CRM, so that's our sales and our customer database that comes in, but we also have emails. So we say, okay, every time we get a win, and we set that in through CRM, we want this to go back out and tell our entire team internally that, hey, we just won a deal. It's going to be in this area. Give a little background about what the deal is and who all was involved, and then also who's assigned to it. And we can do all that within Teams and Power Automate, so it pushes that flow through. Perfect use case of all the technology there. So those Power Automate templates, we have people over in marketing, okay, and the back end creating Power Automate to make their jobs easier. Hey, there was a great thing that one of our team member Heather saw and said, hey, if I can push this out to the entire team, then I don't need to then take this data out of CRM and move it over. Low code, no code, now with templates makes it a lot easier. October also had a couple others, but it's the ability to share teams from Outlook. Now, I personally have people do Teams. We're on a call and they say, hey, can you send an email? I say, I can send a Teams. Okay. And then I want you folks to go into Team. And there's sort of this battle right now. And I would say that the Teams people are leading. I had, we were running this group, our group, and pulling people into Teams 3 years ago and finding it, a little struggle for some people in the beginning. And now everybody's adopted, right? That was 3 years ago. People are still email centric. They read and live and die by their email. So I say, fine, okay, have it your way. But what I'm going to actually do is within Teams, within your post, even a private post, you can go and say, send to Outlook. And then it sends that post to Outlook. Now, the only thing you will need to do is put in the Outlook email addresses. So rather than recopying or reposting, what I do is I send the email to them, and right in the body itself is the entire team's post, and they can click into the team to get more information. So I'm pulling them through the archaic version of email into Teams, whether they like it or not. They think they're getting an email and they're just responding and clicking and getting into something. They don't realize by clicking in, they're in Teams and they're replying back in Teams. So a little tomfoolery, if you will, but really just advocating for people to be part of this digital transformation together. The biggest piece that we hear within Teams, and the place that people, Microsoft has been doing okay with this, and they keep increasing this, but really the search results, okay, is how do I find anything? Sometimes I search up top and it comes in, I'm looking at my Teams, can this be clear? Can you provide a Microsoft platform or rich, just like you do when we look at Bing or some of these other search engines? Give me a search result page so then I can go through it and figure out, oh, it's over here in this team, or it's over here. Okay, that is due to come out next month. I'm really excited about that. When we get our hands on that, you'll be the first to see a demonstration on that, and we'll do a quick recording. But those are sort of my top teams from really the fall of 2021. So in with Teams, is there anything I can actually show you here? I probably could show you some of those Power Automates and different things, but you know what? I'm going to save that for a different demonstration and recording in interest of time and keeping us within our half hour today. So if you need anything there, let's definitely chat. But that share to Outlook, make sure when you're in your team, go post it and then do the ellipsis, look down, it says shared Outlook. It actually creates the Outlook for you, the email, and they can go in and put your email addresses. Power Platform. Wow, we've been making some strides with our clients on this, showing them how to use the different likes of Power Apps or Power BI and even Power Automate that we just spoke about. And then there's other things sort of lingering out there, which is virtual agents. Virtual agents just sort of sit out there, if you will, they're listeners, and they're going to take things and move things from one request to the next. If you haven't looked up on virtual agents, do yourself a quick little favor after this. Plug in uh, Power Virtual Agent and go ahead and take a look at what that is all about. There's some samples on our site as well as Microsoft, and there's some cool things. We're just starting to get, I would say the low code folks and the ability for people to start thinking in terms of virtual agents. So you'll be seeing much more. And I also do think that with the push of AI and the bot technology through Teams, you're going to start seeing a lot of self-service data with AI and really looking at through all the data and helping us. So where are the areas that I wanted to concentrate on? And again, Power Platform, there's a lot out there, but the 3 or 4 that I really wanted to make sure that you saw is, first of all, on the right-hand side in September, Power Automate now for desktop. So that pops up and you have a desktop automation without having to go, using some funky gateway thing that we had to use before, right? So now it's a lot quicker, a lot easier. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, all you need to know is it is much better. For those folks saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe they have that, you're the ones I'm talking to today, because that is super helpful and it saves us a boatload of time. As far as the one that I'm very excited for, again, I say it's in September or October. I haven't seen it quite yet. Maybe I'm just missing this, but there are 2 things here. First of all, I missed one. I'm going to get back to the goals, but let me talk about ODBC connectivity first. And this is all about paginated reports. So remember the day of SQL Server reporting services, you need that page to be fitted with an inch here for the executive and had to look very pretty, the pretty reports, right? Those are all paginated reports. So this features now is going to enable you and me, us users, to connect directly to ODBC from their native data. That's huge. So now we don't have to go through this data warehousing and all this other thing. We can simply go directly to the source. Now, again, I see this with a few things, but I have not seen this across the board. Hopefully it's out there. Maybe I just haven't seen it. We're October, 21st today? Yes. I still haven't seen it out there. Hopefully it is. And if I stand corrected, please just shoot me a comment to this recording and say, hey, Bozo, it's right here. But I'm really looking forward to this because it's going to save us a lot of capability connecting to data. The Power App I already mentioned on the other, but that's really for the Power Automate in Teams. So within Teams now, and you say, go ahead and add something. You can add project now. You can add your timeline. You can add a bunch of great things that we just talked about from Teams. But there isn't that Power Automate. And that's really going to be an app that sort of sits and allows you, hey, for people to interact. Hey, I see that you're doing emailing. Do you want to create an email every time? Or do you want to send an email every time you receive an approval? Whatever it happens to be, they're going to sort of guide you through that with that app process. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. I'm not quite sure what the app's going to look like, but given Microsoft and how Power App's been so powerful, I think it's going to be pretty darn cool. The one I did skip over, which was kind of interesting. When I first heard about this and saw this, I was, kind of wondering if we'd ever use it. And it's Power BI goals. Now, this is near and dear to my heart because within goals, or if you're looking at from a portfolio perspective, you might be thinking of objectives and key results. But Power BI goals is really aimed at streamlining the overall process, of creating and tracking and pretty much doing anything, analyzing your different goals that you have out there. So users have the ability then to create scorecards or different metrics out there, and then within the tool, the data is going to come back. It's going to write back the capabilities there for our organization. So if you haven't seen that, either to an organizational goal or an individual goal, if you haven't seen anything, just go ahead and look out there, Power BI goals, see if it's right for you. It might be something that you might want to take a look at it. Again, they say more of objectives and assigning goals to individuals. So maybe you have this in your HR system today. If you already are capturing goals and you really like it, maybe this isn't the tool, but if you're looking for something, you haven't found that tool and you want something to try, take a look at Power BI goals. All right, that was a lot in about 30 minutes. You can see that I'm pretty excited about all this stuff. Every month something new comes out, just like you saw today with the view critical path. That was a bonus. I knew it was coming out, just didn't know when. Bam, on cue, there it is. So we have a lot of other things out there. I implore you to go out and subscribe to us. We have these quick videos like I just did, and even shorter ones. I like to call them snackables, right? So you have these snackable videos that are out there. Go ahead and take a look at some of these. Our team has been doing a great job, and Heather's been leading the charge out there. You can go in and search not only just the home, but also you can see that there's a little playlist up there. So that little playlist will give you a playlist of each of our different functional areas. It could be by an actual tool, or it might be by a functionality like portfolio management or resource management, okay? Things like that. So definitely go out there and make sure that you get into our YouTube channel. Now, from a workshop perspective, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you, hey, Microsoft and PPM Works are doing a lot of different funding out there. If you're looking and you want to be able to engage with us, free is good, right? So reach out to us, see if you qualify for a hands-on workshop, whether that's within your PM, your teams, or even your Power Automate areas. Just let us know. Sorry, Power Platform areas, I should say. Just let us know. We have workshops that could probably fit your needs. So folks, we went through a lot. My name is Jacques Upil. I want to make sure that you connect with me. Connections are the lead of everyone's game here. You know, we can see what's going on there, but you can always reach us at info@ppmworks if you have any questions on what you saw today, or if you have any questions that we can help further. Lastly, how can you reach us? Talked about this as well, but you can always go out to info@ppmworks. Today, you can link in with us at PPM Works, and here are all of our URLs, the helpful information and links for you today. I know I always have people that say, hey, you move really quick on that LinkedIn. I'll go back to that. But I want to make sure that, again, you go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube. Really, this is the key of all of what we do is out there. Heather does a great job in putting those out there. So I want to thank you for everybody for being on the call. I'm going to pause the recording, but I will take some question and answer at this time. And I look forward to seeing you in maybe next month and a half when we do our next one. Have yourself a great day.